It is the Golden Eagle, going to be run at Randwick. PointsBet market, well, dominated by none other than Autumn Glow. She deserves to be outright favourite. She's just been nothing short of sensational, to be honest. Then big gap to, the rest of them. Let's get to the map, mate. It's a big field. So, and to be honest, you've got a couple of X factors as well that you got to try and work out where they're going to map those internationals. How'd you go having a crack at it?
So I really struggle, to be honest with you, Jules. It's like you say, the internationals are Japanese horses. What do you do there? Panja Tower is certainly the best performed. Beat last year's Golden Eagle winner and has got some really good international numbers. So he could potentially cause a bit of a minor boil over. But looking at their raw speed, probably Perfumist has to kick up from an inside gate and lead. I think Fully Lit from a wide gate comes and sits OSL. Now, that might mean that Linebacker tries to drop down and grab leaders back. Seeples is drawn directly to the outside of Linebacker, so it probably means he gets the one out, one back spot, which is a nice spot for him to be. Will he do? It's a horse that I know can get back, but the early speed it's shown previously, it might chance its arm and go forward. Now, of course, J-Mac might say, no, you're not crossing me, and might hold that spot. But I'm also mindful that I don't think J-Mac wants to use Autumn Glow up too much early. We're expecting the rail to be sort of inferior at Randwick on Saturday. So with horses coming down the middle, I think J-Mac might be content with letting a horse go in front of him that otherwise he might have kept out on a different day, if that makes any sense. So perhaps will he do it and Orochi get their chance to cross the mare? Depth of character. Evaporate, I reckon, gets the back of Autumn Glow. Now, I've parked the Japanese horse back there along the rail. I've got no idea where he's going to go. I'm not even going to pretend that I can sort of work out where he's going to be. And the rest fall away from there. So I think the key points to take out of this is I think probably Seeples gets a really nice run up on top of the speed. He was very unlucky in the Toorak. He does come up in weight. He's a bit of a pricey, $21 to find out. They hammered him at Group 1 level last time out. I hate to use the term the form's been frank, but Transatlantic came out of the Toorak and came up here and put them away pretty easily in the Five Diamonds Prelude last week. He gets a nice run. And I think Autumn Glow, I think J-Mac will just be content with being midfield, making sure she can use that turn of foot that she's got down the centre part of the track, which we're expecting to be the best part of the course on Saturday.
You've been with her throughout. In particular, you were with her, obviously, for the Epsom, her most recent win, which I think a lot of people thought, well, maybe she might be a little bit vulnerable, maybe the wide draw and all that kind of stuff. But she put that to bed. She was very, very good. And I know that, we might have a bit different in terms of the rating of that race. I think I'm a bit higher than what you probably had for that. I think if we know that this is probably going to be her last run before she goes for a break. And I think there's been a bit of a chat about the fact that, maybe she is vulnerable. But I look at this one and I go, of all the ones that she probably was vulnerable, I thought it might have been the Epsom. This one, outside of the X Factor, the Japanese horse, which we don't really have a great guide on, outside of that, and you just had to focus in on Autumn Glow, I think this could be the one where she really does go through the roof. Like the map allows her to possibly put up a really big number here.
Yeah, and you're 100% right. She's either one off the fence or she's in the 3 wide trail. Either or, it's going to be good for her. The one thing I want to put a caveat on everything you've just said is we're yet to see her post a big number past her second run in a preparation. Third up last spring, she rated down when she went into the T-Rose, on my stuff anyway. And third up this spring, she rated down in the Epsom Handicap. Now, in the Epsom Handicap, she had to be used up a little bit to go and sit outside the lead. Probably not the A1 way to ride her, or any horse for that matter, stepping up to a mile for the first time in its career. And she was still too good for them. There's that little query in the back of my head, and I don't think if you said to me, okay, guns to your head, do you really believe it? The answer is no, but it's still there as a little thought pitching away in the back of my head like a million other thoughts.
Yeah.
Most of them are quite dark, to be fair. This one's quite normal, but that she is a very good fresh horse or sort of early in her campaign. And I just want to see her on Saturday. I can't smash that $2 around. I get what you're saying. But the concern is just is she really good first and second up, and does she drop off? Is she maybe better at these sprint trips? You know, that Heritage Stakes where she was just going like the clappers out of the barrier and then kept on going again. Is that her go? Is she a horse that maybe we'll look back and go, wow, she should have been in the Everest. She might have beaten Kahiyam Rising in the Everest if she had gone there. Is she going to be in maybe next year's Everest? I think we're still learning a bit about her. And I think until you really feel confident you know exactly what to expect from a horse, and I'm not confident I know exactly what she's going to do on Saturday, I can't pile into even money about her.
Some interesting thoughts there, because I think it's even you mentioning, we still don't know, maybe she could be in the Everest next year. I mean, I look at her and this race will define her a little bit for me for next spring, for example, not even the autumn, but next spring. Because for me, I think if she can come out deeper into the prep, as you say, we don't know, and she can run her best number at this distance deep into the prep, then I go, there's the Cox Plate horse of 2026, because I know she's going to be able to get through a prep, and I know that probably 2,000 metres won't be an issue. And I know this is not 2,000 metres. I appreciate that. But I just feel like this is the one that will tell me that this is the Cox Plate horse, which doesn't make sense because it's still a year away. Because then I think it also will tell the team that they go, yeah, she's the one that's going to get to 2,000 metres. Yeah, she's going to be able to do 4-run, 5-run prep, which you sort of need to do to be able to win a Cox Plate. You got to be, Winx freaky sort of stuff to be able to be, do whatever you want. And most horses, you need to be at least 4 runs in for a Cox Plate. So this is the one for her, for me, that if she can come out, and I hope she does, big number, because then I go, you know what? Cox Plate next year at Flemington will be her race.
And I suppose the only other box that she'd have to tick is the travelling box, because she's never raced outside New South Wales. So you might find, knowing how meticulous Waller is, that maybe the race for her in the autumn isn't so much here in Sydney. It might be the Queen Elizabeth. You never know. Depends on what Via does. But she might even pop down your way for an Australian Cup. Maybe she goes and has a crack down there, ticks the travelling box, ticks the 2,000 metre box, slightly softer target than the Queen Elizabeth, no offence, and just gives her a look at the Melbourne way of going.
Yeah, and also gives her a look at Flemington and 2,000 metres, which is exactly what the 2026 Cox Plate will be.
There you go.
The exact same setup.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.